awful connection, you know. All of this 5G, all of it left and right, just frying at our brain cells, right? Like so much more technology, and the reception has never been worse, you know? We're being played. How did I have like 3G and just a crappy flip phone, and that phone never broke, and I got just always had reception, and that was like forever ago. This is just crappy. Sorry if it keeps pausing. I don't know why, because it's saying I have full bar. That could be because they don't really want me talking about the pedos. They want me talking about the pedos. I pretty much went over the Vias for vaccine thing, and if you guys still have further questions, just message and we could go over that later. But point being, if you like it, if you were inspired, you gotta hit us up, let us know if it's something you would like to be involved in the future, and then we can reach out to you if or when anything like that happens in the future. Or if you're in an area, once again, where you don't have things like that, or you're like, I don't have leaders like that here, how about this concept? Why don't you be the leader, and why don't you take on the reins and you create that bit of a ripple effect? Just a thought, because it would really, really help. It would really help. I only wish everyone, if everyone that was sitting out there that was thinking, gosh, I wish I could do it. If you're not going to get brave now, when are you going to get brave? What's it going to take for you to get brave? That's my question to you. Is it going to take someone coming at your kid with a syringe and you having no way out? Because at that point, we're done. Is that what it's going to take? Because then are you going to man up then? You know, are you going to get the courage? When's it going to happen? Are you in charge of your life or not? And you don't have to be outside with a sign protesting, but you have to start being vocal. You have to start. I had dinner last night with a dear friend, and she's known of my views, obviously, for forever. I don't judge people on this. I will say this, though. She recently started posting to her social media, and while there's a few people that will message and be like, hey, that was so irresponsible that you posted that, like, I don't agree. And it's like, what don't you agree with? She was posting about vaccine-injured kids. So what part of that don't you agree with? I don't but she mentioned that she had DMs from people that are already been following her, that she's just known for a while, that were like, hey, I just want you to know that I feel the same. Go figure. And she's like, yeah. And then apparently there's this girl that follows you that we've known, and that I'm like, but I don't know who she is. And she was like, I was shocked to learn that she's also a part of this movement. I was really shocked to learn of that. I'm like, well, you're never gonna know unless you kind of throw it out there. I mean, if there's any time, it is now. What are you gonna do? Join the bandwagon when, like, if there's any time, it is now. How do you know? How do you know who you can help? Who's out there waiting for you to, it's just, if you don't do it now, if you don't take that first step, honestly, in weeding out who's not your friend. How about that? I would be using it at this point if I hadn't stepped out yet. At this point in my life, I would be using this as my defense mechanism of, after seeing what's out there and the zombie mentality out there, I'd be like, I'm going to just cast this little out there right now to know who would, in my circle, likely be the first to turn me in. And then I'd block off and delete those people now. Do it now before there's rewards for it. I mean, whew, you would be shocked to find out, because there were people that came up to the activists that would say, hey, we love the job you're doing, great job, we really support it, and they were quiet about it. Hey, we appreciate what you're doing, and it's like, that's great, but anyway, whew, you guys get where I'm going with that. But unless you start saying something, how would you know? And I have a few close friends that are now getting a little bit vocal and saying something. And like I said last week, it's because if it's not going to happen to your child, it's going to be your child's best friend. It's going to be your child's just a classmate, It's going to be a relative. It's going to be a niece, a nephew. And then what? Then what are you going to say? Well, had I maybe said something? And you always hear from people, I'm so glad that somebody planted that seed. Whether I snapped on that person or not, or didn't believe them at first, or what, it's always, I'm so glad that person planted that seed. You never hear, oh, I regret that person gave me this information. You never hear it. So, gosh, guys, be encouraged. I mean, if at anything, please, to, So, there you go. Do it yourself. If you're in a country where there are no Joshua Colemans out there, then that sucks. But you do it. You be inspired and you do it. And you guys should be following him and because they are putting together, and I believe it's almost done. I don't know. I think I maybe saw that he jumped on the live. But they have everything set up, like, so that you can order these PDFs, you can download things like this, so that if you want to do this also and have it organized in that way, there's help out there. And it's not like, Joshua is not that type of person that's like, oh no, this is just for us. So it's like, do it. Everybody do it. Let's talk about a little bit more now, leading into Amazon and the joke that they are and all their censorship. And you guys saw that it's like an older documentary too. I think it's a 2016 documentary, but the fact that they won't allow documentaries like Vaxxed or Trace Amounts or, Root Cause, but they're going to allow Understanding Pedophilia. I just don't understand. No, society. I'm so done with that. What is this with, we need to understand and respect that pedophilia is a mental disorder, and that, all right, here we go. I got issues with that. I got big time issues, because just because you went to an indoctrination center, got a degree, you now can talk to people, and have a license to prescribe the 30 people with a weird disorder, because I'm not talking about pedophilia here. I'm talking about, what about the other bizarre disorders that are out there? Have you guys seen some of them? There is a disorder, and the name escapes me, because when I saw it, I was like, there's no way this is real. There's a disorder out there for people who make up disorders in their mind that they're not really going through anything, but they can actually be prescribed something, and it's a pharmaceutical, and they can now be on a medication that's a disorder for, there's nothing really wrong with me, it's just that I think that there's something wrong with me. I'm not joking. There is some weird disorders out there. And what are you expecting the rest of the populace to do about it? Weird medical conditions, you guys. I feel like I've seen them all. There's one called exploding head syndrome. Like, you think all the time of imagery where your head is either being like a bullet's going through it, or it just blows up, and it's like a syndrome that you can go and get like medically diagnosed. Are you? So anyway, rant time, because rant time. Why should we? Why should the majority and the populace take the time to try to understand and sympathize with something as sick and deranged as you're an adult who has a desire to have sex with a child? Why don't you take the time, pedophile, to sit back and understand why the majority of the country you reside in, or just the majority of, I gotta say country, because there are some countries that are a little bit like more twisted than others. Why don't you take the time to understand that the average person thinks you're a deranged, sick lunatic? Oh, see, I just passed one of those 1, 2, 3 vaccine billboards. Oh my God, I can't even think right now. I'm so disgusted. But why don't you take the time to understand that this excuse for a mental disorder is urges like that come from the very pits of hell? Because I'm so beyond, I'm so grossed out at how they are really normalizing pedophilia in this country already, because you know that the whatever is going to be hitting the fan here soon. Like, Hollywood is imploding. All of it is freaking imploding on them, okay? But, you know, Matthew 18:6, but if you cause one of these little ones who trusts in me to fall into sin, it would be better for you to have a large millstone tied around your neck and be drowned in the depths of the sea. In other words, if you have an inkling to have sex with a child, you should just kill yourself. You should just end up in the bottoms, in the depth of the ocean, because you are a net negative to society. And no, we don't need to take the time to understand and sympathize with your I can sympathize this much to a point. You were likely abused and molested as a child too, and that is terrible and that sucks. But if your coping is going to be to oh my gosh, just do away with yourself, please. Do away with yourself. That's just so disgusting. You take the time to where's all these, I love that this girl, Natalie, I hope I'm saying her last name right. It's like Neves, sent this in to me. How about pro-vaxxer, understanding the mental disorder that is being a pro-vaxxer? How about that? How about abortion supporter, understanding the mental disorder of somebody who can't even see a baby as a baby? You guys we can go on with those kind of lists. She's so funny. She's like, I Democrat. Understanding the actual disease and mentality of having to. But anyways, yeah, seriously, at this point, ask yourself who's owning Hollywood, who owns the bank, who owns the media, who owns all of it, right? These same sickos, these same people. Jesus, come quick. Sickos. I mean, Amazon, the hypocrisy, right? How about anti-vaxxer? understanding why there are tens of thousands of parents that wake up every day and turn on a system that has failed them, right? What about that? Oh, but wait, there are documentaries like that explain the anti-vax movement and why there is a surplus now of parents that are doing this. But, oh, that's right, Amazon, you don't want to feature those documentaries, do you? You don't want to feature those ones. You want to censor that information. You want us to sit back and try to sympathize now and understand where pedophiles are coming from. It's shocking. Nobody wants to sit back and say why are all these parents waking up and going against a system? Why are, like, really, people are just waking up one day and saying, I am gonna go against everything I was taught as a child. You know, I'm gonna do the complete opposite just cause. No inkling in you to like wonder why people are, why hundreds of activists are out on a Saturday taking time out of their day, something that costs them money, time, money, like hotel stays. Some people drove from everywhere to be a part of this thing. Like, why? Why are people out there doing this? Oh, wait, it's going to be really hard to access that kind of information now because they're going to censor it from you. You guys, you know what? I'm over it. We're in all of this mess because we're sympathizing and trying to understand the degenerates of society. Okay, whatever. I don't care that there's a clinical diagnosis. Then you need to understand. I mean, it's not on paper yet, but I just because I am like this rare, call me rare. I don't even think it's a rare thing. Call it rare. I'm this like percentage of people that you need to understand this. If you think a certain way about kids and you want to hurt children, that I think you're just better off dead and you should have a noose around your neck. Call that a clinic. Can I get a diagnosis on that? Can there be a documentary on that? That I don't think you should be alive and breathing if you want to hurt children, you know? That part of our species that actually needs the protection and needs us and relies on us and trusts us, and oh my gosh, it's just so vile. Where are we heading as a nation? No wonder all of this is happening right now. You just have swarms of people that will call themselves pro-science with their million genders and not be able to call a baby a baby. That's why we're in the mess we're in. It's like this sick punishment that no one's realizing because we've failed the children. We've just failed the children. It's sick. It's really, really sick. And it's heartbreaking. So, moving into that, this is especially why you need to be sending off that line of who else out there kind of thinks like normal and is done being silent and worried, because what's happening is the loudest are the crazies, and because they get loud and they have little demonstrations that actually that the failed media will actually report on, we're going to convince society that there is this growing need for this kind of just deranged thinking that we need to all be supportive of and arms open for, and absolutely not. No. I need to know all the more now who the heck is on my side, because if you're not, blocked out, goodbye. Just, this is not the time, you guys, for gaining people in your life. Truly, it first, before you gain the good ones, you need to weed out who does not need to be a part of your life anymore. I don't regret it I've had people that I thought were friends, and maybe, you know what, they were friends for a season, but would just, because of the peer pressure and society, the need to like fit in, they would put themselves in like this place of just, I don't want to pick and choose. I don't want to pick and choose a side of like, it was too like watered down. How can you not stand firm in your beliefs? So I'm sorry, but I have cut, and I cut because it's a necessity at this point in my life to just cut you out completely. If you're gonna be like, ooh, I don't know, my kid needs a play date with their... Bye. Goodbye. You want to go and associate with people who have knowingly badmouthed me, my family, wished ill on my kids, but you still think that I'm going to consider you a friend? Bye. Goodbye. I just want nothing to do with you, and it's a protection thing right now at this point. That I don't even want you knowing what my family's up to, what we're doing. I just don't. Because these are the same people that out in public will say things like, gee, how is Talia? I mean, I don't know why we don't talk anymore. I will tell people why we don't talk anymore. I have screenshots I've shared before where I've at least blocked out people's names. Hey, Talia, it's so weird. I don't know why we don't keep in touch, and it's usually for asking for like pictures. I've been a photographer for over 10 years, so chances are a lot of these people have images that I took lining their staircases that they don't want anything to do with me because of my views, and it was so taboo. And then, but you know what? You find out through the grapevine that these people talk about you. And I'm sharing this now because many of you are going through it. You're currently in it. You're living this right now where you don't know who your real friends are, especially when you speak out about stuff like this. And let me tell you, when they come around after a year or two and want to play fakey, I have no time and patience for that. I message them back. Oh, I'll tell you why we don't talk anymore. Because I heard through this post on this forum that you said this about my family and you wished ill on my children. That's why we don't talk anymore. So it's interesting that you want to go out in public and play stupid. I don't know why Talia and I don't. It's weird that we don't connect anymore. It's like, I will tell you why. And then chances are they typically have nothing really left to say back. But it's okay. You expose that. You put them in these very awkward situations, because for me, that is where I draw the line. You can talk about me all you want, my husband all you want, that's how Jeff and I are. But you wish ill on my children and hope that I learn my lesson. And that's what it's going to take, because literally, you guys are the most, and so, yeah. And so then if you're a friend who hasn't said anything like that, and you've been very just whatever, but you associate with people that have done that, then goodbye. I don't want anything to do with you. And I'm not giving advice telling you to do the same. I'm telling you what I did and that it was better for me. And you don't want people in your life that aren't just rooting for you and understanding, and that is not a friend. It's just not. So cut out who you need to cut out. It's okay. I was told at a very young age, you only need this many friends in your life. Real friends. Okay? Because the more than this, the more your trust that you're putting out there, the more trouble you're going to invite into your life. So it's okay. And it's really okay to have a friend for a season. Oh, I understand why that person was in my life for that moment in time. But people, you grow. You grow. And if somebody's not going to grow with you, then that means that they're likely going to bring you down. And I don't want that, because I have had friends that have messaged me, but their caring is like, hey, I just want you to know I really care about you. And I just think that, like, this isn't recent. I'm talking like when I first was really getting vocal online, so like 10 years ago. But I get messages of like, we just don't understand why you're doing this. Like, we're concerned about you. You're embarrassing yourself. You're making a fool of yourself. You're not a nurse. You're not a doctor. And that was their concern. We don't care to fact check anything, honestly, Talia. We just think it's weird and don't really want to associate with you because of the kind of things that you're posting about. Is that a friend? Would a friend really comment like that or send you a message like that? So sometimes when my message is back, people think it's just so insensitive when they're like, what should I say to this person and that? I'm literally like, hey, don't waste your time convincing somebody that poison is poison. And just save yourself a lot of time, save yourself a lot of energy. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. And they think that it's like really insensitive. And I'm going, if you're DMing a stranger on the internet asking for advice when it comes to things like this on what to say, that means that you yourself have to still take the time and do way more research to get way more informed so that you can just respond like that. And it's okay to not respond, period, to anybody. But I'm not gonna associate myself and even involve you in my life to fake what? For what? Go away. I wish you the best. And when you do wake up, great. I don't know how I'll know to unblock you, but if you can figure out a way around that and get a hold of me, which some people have, they like found me on like alternate accounts of mine. Hey, I don't know why we don't follow each other anymore. It's like, why we don't follow each other anymore. But anyways, I just want you to know that like this happened in my life and this person got injured and blah, blah, and I've been doing my research, and it's just like, okay, well, that's awesome, whatever. Also, it's interesting because people think when they're leaving things like that on social media and wishing these terrible things on other people, that kind of stuff is not going to like get back to other people. So I just get really, it's fascinating, right? It's fascinating going, that's interesting that they just thought that they could trust that kind of terrible with everyone and that it wouldn't get back around. So, and also whatever, they're going to think of me all the time because I literally photographed very important, precious moments in their life. So that's all over your house. But maybe it'll get you to, I don't know, look into something. Take the time and look into it. I don't care. Getting into the picture aspect too. Side note, guys, if you're listening in, if there's any guys out there listening that hate taking pictures, can I just say, can you please just take the 30 minutes to an hour out of your year to just get dressed and go out and take some nice pictures with your family, for your wife? It really means a lot to us women if you could just do it, like suck it up and do it. It's one day out of the year that your wife is going to be so happy because when she prints these pictures up, she's going to put them around the house, and on her worst day, when she's doing your laundry, when she's cooking for you, when she's cleaning, when she's feeling like, why have I given up all of my dreams to do this? She's going to stare at that photo on the wall and think, oh yes, That's why. For my family. Because I love them. And for my husband, who, look, in this moment that was captured, looks like he just really adores me. That's why. That's why. So can you just do it? Please? So annoying. Like, the men, when I would do these, but it's a good thing I'm slowing down on that photography career of mine. Because now I can start sharing a lot of the things I want to share. But you go on photo shoots, and these men, seriously, I've had some where they just act so annoyed. Like, you're not the 2-year-old baby in this shoot. Like, the ones I should be worried about as the photographer are like the kids and getting their attention and all that. But like the men, why am I? Hey, can you like smile? Can you look like you love your wife? It's not everyone, but it's a lot. And it's so, I'm like, I have to bite my tongue. Because here's this woman who just was looking forward to this. Who cares? These guys like talk all this smack on, I gotta get these family photos done. It's like, what, really? Really? Because your wife, it gives her pride and joy to like send out either, whether it's an email card or like, it just gives her this like burst of happiness to get dolled up with her family one flipping day out of the year where she just wants one picture. And you're gonna come there and really? Got a lot of thoughts on that one. Because when she's in the depths of despair, having the worst day of her year, ready to call it quits, okay, those pictures are going to save her and your marriage. It's not the only thing. It's not a guarantee, and it's not a cure-all, fix-all, by the way. But it will be something that when she stares at, she's going to go, oh, okay, I guess I won't unload on him later and lose my crap completely. Just suck it up. Good grief. It's weird. Babies. Men, baby, children. It's just like so sad. Thankfully, I don't have to deal with that with Jeff, because you kind of have to set the bar prior to all of it, right? No. We're not going to act up and throw a fit and act like a little, you know what, because so you just have to have the talk prior. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's just this one time. No. It's funny because I'll do engagement photos for people, and the girl is like, often they'll be, honey, it's just for now, and you're like, no, it's not. It's also going to be just for the wedding. And then when you guys are ready to like have kids, it's going to, because you're a woman who likes pictures, it's going to be just for the maternity session. Then it's going to be just for the newborn pictures, just for the maternity, just for the newborn, and then just for like all the holiday photos that we're going to be taking every year from here on out. And whether it's that you hire out a professional or you get a family member to take it and do it, whether it's through an iPhone photo, can you guys just do it? That goes to be said too for like every now and then capturing a candid moment of your wife, who I guarantee through your wife's cell phone, there's like 1,000 pictures of you with the kids enjoying these like real moments, right? And do you think maybe, just maybe, she might want some of that stuff too? I mean, it would take you 2 seconds out of your day to capture a moment on an iPhone. I can't with that. And this is like as courteous as I could be in this topic, honestly, because the rest of my, just annoying, weird, so weird, right? Take you 2 seconds. Forget the family holiday photo shoot. Offer it. Why do we as women have to ask, hey honey, do you mind getting one picture of this like family moment that we're having, and then that's it, I won't ask for the rest of the day, do you mind just taking one? And it's like this, fine. What? Or maybe, ladies, you need to just ask more. I don't know, but I just know it is so. The general complaint from a lot of women, oh, we just never, or he just never. Tell him that you would like that and appreciate it very much so. You know? I had posted on Friday night, I was staying with a friend of mine, and she's in this relationship that's very new and fresh, the kind where you write things on a chalkboard like happy 14 months, and you're counting in that way with the months, right? And it's cute, and it's amazing, and I love it. And, you know, he's the type, right now, hopefully it's not just a phase, he's a great guy. And he's the kind of guy who, like, buys her outfits. He'll be just out in a store and he'll walk by and see a dress on a mannequin and think, wow, she'd look beautiful in that, and go into the store and buy several dresses, put it on the bed and say, babe, can you pick one of these? I just thought you'd look beautiful in this, because I want to take you out to dinner, and like do stuff like that, right? They're in that kind of phase of a relationship, which is just, I love it. Versus when you get married and it's like 14 months since I've had a love note, 14 months since you've just decided out of your own goodness to do all the chores. You know, they're in that phase of the relationship. And you know, you can never expect for that kind of stuff to stay and stick, you know. But I still get handwritten notes. I still do. Jeff does this thing where he writes me a note, typically on Sundays, and it'll be whether it's a little poem or a little, you know, I just wanted to, like a 2-3 paragraph, something sweet, handwritten. I get stuff like that, and I don't have to ask for stuff like that. It's not always, right? And it's nice when it happens, because then you don't have to ask for it. But guys don't realize that, like, it really would take, it's free almost. This is why we get so upset, because no one's asking you to spend $80 on roses here. We're asking you to just, when it comes to you, to say something, you know, so that I don't have to get a chalkboard and write, it's been 18 months since you've given me a nice compliment, you know. And going into that, it could get worse. This is me reserved with my thoughts on this. Just reserved with my thoughts on this. Hey, honey, it's been a good 4 years since you've, like, planned something special. And we don't want to be those people that bug you to plan something special. Why should we have to? That takes the fun out of all of it. Because, guys, I got news for you. If she gets to a place where she's just so irritating, just know that if it wasn't her, it's going to be someone else after 18 months. They're going to be nice and great for 18 months of your life, right? And then, because it's you and all of your terrible habits, they're going to eventually be irritated with the stuff that they thought was cute to begin with. It's just very and I know it goes both ways, which is also why it's just not worth it. Really is worth it to try your hardest and stick together and make it work, because it's only going to take a couple years for the next guy that you think is amazing, or a girl you think is amazing, to just be sick of your crap anyways. So you might as well try. You might as well try. Okay? Ugh. It's useless. Guys gotta get back into this, like, why did we fall in love to begin with? You know? I do talk about other things, jumping on a live here. It's not like all vaccines and, the elites and all of that. Because there is a lot to be said for how do I make it through? How do we make it through? If you're married and you have kids, all of these trials. You have to be so careful in the person that you're choosing in life. When you first get married, typically, if you're going by just the American standard, you're in a phase of your life where, you might have just lost a grandparent, or you're losing grandparents, and you have to be able to be with, you gotta see how that person's gonna be when it comes to dealing with things like grief. It teaches you a lot about everything. Just connecting back with the person that you said is your soulmate and you deem is my soulmate. Are they? They were? Can you get back to that? Do you really, when you look at each other, stare into each other's souls? Do you have moments with each other where you're just holding hands and you're in the middle of a room and you're connecting and you're feeling energies that you used to feel before? Oh, when we held hands before, it's like you'd feel that zap of like that just crazy connection that got you all giddy and excited to be with the other person. You couldn't wait to see the other person, and you know that stuff is still there, right? It's just laying dormant, and because it's laying dormant doesn't mean it's gone forever. It just means it's laying dormant and you have to like reactivate it, because it can be done. People do it all the time. And it only takes the tiniest things. So, leading into, you also need to get into, if you're a beta male, I can't help you. I'm sorry. I can't help you. I can only speak for my... Leading into, can you defend and protect this family in a crisis situation? Because there's a lot going on and things are so unsettling, and we're having millennials that are Googling what to do in an earthquake, and I'm very scared for the future. My marriage isn't perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm just throwing things out there that have just eased it along in all these years, because we're approaching the 10-year mark. You guys just realized you're just keeping me company, right? Because I'm driving, and and I just like to vent sometimes. Yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna stop off. Actually, what I could do in another hour or so here, when I'm on another just long thing, that point when you're driving into Vegas that's just like so boring, I can answer some questions that maybe come in, and then I'll read those questions when I stop off, because I got a small bladder, so I got to stop off to pee, and then I can like answer some stuff, because I might as well. Just whatever's been lingering. If you've got a question that's been in my inbox, that even if you think it's a stupid question, that you're like, man, she's probably ignoring me because I could just copy paste this question and put it into Google and get my answer. Just whatever. Just ask it. And then we can talk. It'll be like we're on the phone or something. Only not. Anyway, I'm going to go pull off and pee, relieve myself. And then we'll jump back on. Jump back at what time is it? 4:14? Let's say 5:30? Let's aim for 5:30. So I can just like refresh. Okay.